Welcome back to Senior Savvy Cannabis. I'm Catherine Goldberg. Today we're joined by Chase Werner of Triangle Seeds. Today is an exciting day because it's Germination Day. We have waited nearly a month for this, and I think our patience has paid off. So Chase, we're growing an autoflower. What do we have to know about how to successfully germinate a seed before we get started?
Well, specifically with the autoflower, there's some things you want to think about. The autoflower genetics, they're really sensitive. The taproot specifically is sensitive to stress, and that can cause the autoflower to flower early. All autoflowers, they flower fairly quickly, but if the root is stressed early on, it can flower and you get a very small amount of flower. And so what you really want to do with an autoflower is try to start it in the container that it's going to be finished in. With photoperiodic seeds, you can start them like in a cell tray. You can do the wet paper towel method, which is really common. You can do the wet paper towel method with autoflowers too, but you just got to be really careful. As soon as that taproot comes out, you want to be in there with tweezers. And this is just the reality of autoflowers. Starting them outside of the main intended container is just a little bit more of a hassle. You want to be in there with tweezers and gently moving that seed into the soil. You definitely don't want to start an autoflower like in a cell tray because that taproot can hit the bottom of that plastic tray and that can give it the stress that causes it to flower too early. And so we're going to take the approach of just starting it directly in the 7-gallon pot that we're going to finish it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that I think is different than a lot of the information that's being told online, which is interesting. So it seems like the issues that people have with germination are mainly because they get excited and they germinate the seeds right when they arrive.
Sure. And
they don't wait until like their soil comes or they build their tent.
Yep.
Are there, besides that, it's not a very technical process, is it?
Not when you just look at what the fundamentals are that's needed for germination, and really that's moisture around the seed. The seed needs moisture and it needs a temperature of around 70 degrees, much cooler than that, and that'll hurt germination. So that's kind of when you think about, you hear all these different ways to germinate. People use jiffy pellets or wet paper towel or direct sow in the dirt. But what all those methods are doing, they're trying to create a moist environment around the seed to cause germination. And so for us, we're gonna go directly into the soil. It's just all about using that mister bottle to keep that soil moist for 3 days to 7 days potentially for the seed to sprout. Some older seeds can take 2 weeks to sprout. And so keeping that soil moist it takes some attention, especially if your environment is hot. Luckily we have the grow tent, which is like right around 70 degrees anyways. But the wet paper towel method for photoperiodic seeds is nice because that paper towel in that sealed Ziploc is going to stay moist. You may have to re-moisten it after 7 days, maybe, but it's a closed environment. And so I think it's convenient in that way. But with the autos, we really want to it's more work. We got to pay attention to that soil, make sure it's staying moist, but it's the best way to do it to minimize the chances of the autoflower going into flower early.
Is that, so should I be checking this like twice a day? Is this a once a day check, a twice a day?
Check it. We're going to keep your light off initially.
Okay.
Because the seed doesn't need light to germinate.
Right.
And that's just that light being on would just cause the soil to go dry faster.
Okay.
And we're also going to do a little trick with this bottle.
Okay.
Where we cut the top off and it creates like a little bit of a humidity dome.
Oh, on top of that seed.
Cute.
So
the seed's going to go in.
Yeah.
We're going to put the bottle on top.
Nice.
And that'll keep the moisture keep that specific spot on the soil humid.
Okay.
And so, once a day check, and you're going to be looking for a darker color to the soil that's moist.
Okay.
Soil that's more moist looks darker than dry soil.
Okay.
And so you're just going to look for that color change. And soil pretty much always dries out from the top down. So if the top is dry, it's because the seed is only going to be a 1/4 inch below the soil line. If that top looks dry, you want to miss some more water on it to keep it moist.
Okay. So. And for someone who's never grown anything, how do I know when, like, like moist is a pretty like broad term.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to be wet.
Yeah, think about it this way. That's a 7-gallon pot
Yeah.
that you're going to be growing in, and so the majority of that soil is going to have, some moisture to it, but the little, fist-sized area of dirt around the seed needs to be wet.
Okay.
Wet to me is there's moist, there's wet. You know what I mean? There's like it's relative.
Right.
But so if you'll see when you start to miss the soil, how you can kind of see, okay, that soil has moisture in it. It's a darker color. It's kind of clumped together. And so that's basically what you're looking for is the visual, like once the plant gets bigger, you can put your finger in it for lack of a, there's obviously meters and tools to do this, but like the finger test works great. You put your finger in and you can feel moisture on your skin.
Okay.
But with this seed, you're just trying to keep that little fist-sized area of soil moist. You're really just looking visually for that darker soil, and you'll kind of see.
So each time I check, I'm going to take the little dome off?
You don't need to.
Okay, I don't need to.
Yeah, you'll be able to, this is clear, right?
Yeah,
so you'll be able just to kind of, this will be sitting there, and you'll be able to look inside and go, oh yeah, that soil is dark.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there so we're going to germinate 2 seed?
We're going to do 2, just to make sure we can
in the same
pot. Yeah, we're gonna pick the strongest one.
Okay. So like theoretically, like they both pop up. And one looks a little bit better.
Yeah, statistically, the germ test, the germ rate on these seeds are good. So we'll probably get 2 seedlings.
Okay.
I've got a good connection on seed, so we just get to pick the best.
Amazing.
The best of the 2.
And guess what? There should be a transition there. But a couple people have told us that they also ordered seeds and they're going to grow along with us.
Yep, for sure.
So
I've been hearing from them.
Love it.
Yeah. Too cool.
If you have questions for Chase, he's the home grow coach. We're going to link to everything in the bio. You can reach out to him directly. You can use the seeds from Triangle Seeds like we're using. And I'm excited to get my hands dirty. And then, when will I have weed? I'm not in a rush. I'm just curious.
You're gonna have weed in 14 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Okay.
So enjoy the journey.
Yeah. No. I love it. I love it.
We've got about 12 weeks.
Okay.
11 weeks to harvest, something like that. And then there's gonna be a couple weeks of drying and curing. So it puts us at like 13, 14 weeks, somewhere in there.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. I understand why people grow autos. I totally get it.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Right. So in the world of growing, that's a quick harvest.
Especially if you want to try different strains.
For sure. And the cool thing with autos, depending on how your setup is, you can have rolling harvests. You can, because you're not changing your light schedule in an indoor situation, you can just, in most cases, halfway through the one auto growing, put another auto in the tent, and then you can have a more regular harvest.
So I only have 1 plant in this tent. It could theoretically fit more than 1 plant. You
could. Yeah, it's
a small tent.
Yep. Spider Farmer calls it a 2x2, but it's like a 2.3 by 2.3 foot tent. Okay. So you could put more plants in there. We're going to train this, which will be fun because a lot of people, aren't really sure about training autos, so it's going to be kind of a fun challenge. It's also a sativa, which generally go taller, and so we have a shorter tent. But I think that's kind of the cool thing is like we're going a little bit against the grain. A lot of people would say, oh, you need a super tall tent, and there's some truth to that, but we can manage it through training is the idea. And so I guess where I'm going with that is we could put more plants in this tent, but the more plants you put in a tent, the more you increase your risk for disease and problems because you've got basically like more plant material for pests and stuff like that to get into. And a lot of people think, okay, more plants, more yield, but it's counterintuitive. If you grow less plants but train them correctly and you keep them healthy, then you're gonna get more yield. If you put a bunch of plants in there and you get aphids, then you can't see that you got aphids because the canopy is so tight, you're not gonna get any bud. And so it's like, if you grow less to grow more. We learned that lesson a long time ago when we were growing hydroponic lettuce. We got aphids really bad on our lettuce hydro house, and we had whatever it was per square foot of heads, and we cut our planting density down by like 20%, and we were able to control the aphids. We had better airflow between the plants, the sprays we were doing were more effective. So
Okay.
more plants doesn't necessarily mean more yield.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And I like this idea of slowing down, just to do one and really notice all the details. People
Yeah.
talk about, and you've actually mentioned this, how important it is to record data along the way.
Sure.
I was thinking we should probably like make some sort of tracking journal that people
Yeah.
can get as a PDF, maybe like from your website or something.
Sure.
Do I need to be tracking anything at this point, or is that sort of after it comes up?
No, I mean, you could start a week, once you have a seedling.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 leaves that come out of this seed are called the cotyledons.
Okay.
They just look like kind of generic round leaves.
Yeah.
And after that, you get what we call your first true leaves, which are the true cannabis leaves.
Okay.
So once you get those 2 true leaves out, you could start the journal.
Okay.
And the Spider Farmer controller's got a slot for a micro SD.
Oh, you're right.
So we should pick one of those up. So
Okay.
it'll just log. I mean, really,
Wow.
yeah. I'm
Okay.
not super familiar with like how the Spider Farmer's app and stuff works, but you might be able to just upload the data.
That's interesting.
From that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're ready to go. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go get. Are we gonna physically do this in the tent, or are we gonna take the pot out of the tent?
No, just do it in the tent.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other germination questions?
No, I think just
Yeah.
like the only mistake I've made so far, not this time, thankfully, is that I get really excited when my seeds come.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put them in the bag with the and then like they sprout, and then I'm like, oh, I haven't ordered soil yet.
Yes.
So-
yeah, and the seedlings can get leggy really quick.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, like people that are growing outdoors, maybe they have like a budget grow light or no grow light at all, and they basically, the seedling from the time it sprouts to the time, if you don't have your system set up, that it gets leggy. You'll get this like toothpick. You'll get I've seen like 5-6 inch tall toothpicks with little tiny leaves at the top, and they'll fall over, and then you're staking. It's just, you don't want to start that way. And a lot of people do. They germinate the seeds as soon as they get them, and they don't have the environment set up, or they don't have the container set up. So just make sure, like we took our time. We looked at your lung room. We set your tent up. With the soil, we let it cook a little bit because we're doing like a living soil approach. So we're ready.
Finally ready.
That's a key. Yeah.
Okay. Follow along, and if you guys are growing, let us know how it's going. And if you have questions, you can reach out to Chase directly, and we'll keep you posted.